Welcome to the In My Opinion show with Ronald Barrington Robinson and friends, seen on the internet, 24 hours, 7 days a week. You can also view us on Flint Channel 17, Detroit Channel 68, and Channel 20. I want to welcome my very talented co-host, Miss Jackie Williams.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Jackie.
And Mr. Henry Hatter.
Well, thank you. It's good to be here.
Thank you. Let's talk about Donald Trump. Why should people vote for Trump when he calls Mexicans racist and criminals, made obscenity, sexist comments over and over again, mocked a disabled reporter? More black people are on welfare, he says. They defraud and they defraud. Students at his Trump University in New York and California targeted low-income population for millions of dollars, and it's in the courts right now. And from all indication is that it's true. And how can the American public, all right, vote for a man that, which is coming to bear right now, lies almost every time he opens his mouth? Okay? Jackie, what's your thoughts?
I think it's a really unfortunate situation, because normally when you think of an office such as the President of the United States, you think of the most respected office. So when you think of a respected office, you think of a person that has high integrity and is well respected by others and also respect others. Well, Trump seems to have an issue with that, because he is a businessman, has done pretty good for himself, so he's not used to scrutiny, and I could tell that, he's not used to answering questions. He pretty much gets to do what he wants to do. But as a president of the United States, there is certain things that you expect this person to have. You're supposed to respect all races. You're supposed to treat everybody fairly, because you're not just a president of one race. You're the president of all races. So you can't talk bad about them and then say you're going to represent them, because that's what he's been doing lately. He talked bad about most races, but now he's saying that he's going to help us get jobs. And then even his speeches are so negative. When he came to Detroit, he was like, what else do you have to lose to vote for him? Because you're in poverty, you don't have jobs. I mean, so it's just a negative overcast. You would think the President of the United States would hold a job where he encourages others and lift other people up, not make them feel as though they don't exist, or if they do exist, they're barely existing. So I just feel like it's a very strange race, I would say. And I don't think he represents the party of the Republican Party. I think he represents a group of people who are angry that the United States is starting to look like the United States versus just one race.
And also to add to that, he also has spewed out of his mouth that black folks are gangsters, black women are loose, they have too many babies, won't work. He also talked about white women. He denigrates our military, and what's worse, he denounced a captain that gave his life for America, and also talked about this man's mother. He even stated Congressman McCain was no hero. He should never have been captured and tortured. He wants to send millions of families back to Mexico and other places around the world. And, the list is endless. It goes on and on and on and on and on. He's not going to send, hopefully he doesn't become a president, because if he does, I'm moving to Canada real quick. Okay? Real quick. But these 11 million undocumented workers he's talking about, okay? He's saying Mexicans and people from South America. So if he were elected president, which I hope he doesn't, it won't stop with South America, okay? It'll be all the other immigrants, all right? The Syrians, African Americans, all right? He wants, he's already said, send them back to their country, okay? Well, my thing is to send his ass back to Europe. That's where I'm coming from. Mr. Hatter, what's your thoughts?
Well, I take a different view of that. The things that he says that appear to be berating to other people are just nuances. They don't mean much. And
But what if he came up to you, Mr. Hatter, and called you the N-word?
Well,
Would you consider that not saying very much?
No, I would. I wouldn't think much of it. That's
Now
his
we're on
view.
worldwide television.
I wouldn't think much of it. I don't get all upset over people who I believe to have it in them anyway. You speak about Trump, but what about your neighbors? What about the people across town? They share the same view.
But they're not running for the president.
It doesn't matter.
Yes, it does.
Yes, it does
But it
matter.
does.
Hang on. These are people, most of your legislation and things are done by people who are local, who impact you, not by the president. And what president hasn't shied away from blacks before? We've been through hell and high water. Hang on, before you go get mad. And yet you pick on this man here who has come out for the first time in our history. We've never seen this before, where two parties say, I want to vie for the black vote. Nobody's ever said that our vote was important. Nobody ever said that we were important.
He's
But
only
hang
doing
on.
that because he's behind in the polls, and he thinks black folks, if he talks enough of that mess, that black folks are going to believe his lies and go out and
Yeah,
mass
you
and
can
vote
put it
for
that
him.
way too, but he wants to win like anybody else, like Mrs. Clinton. Mrs. Clinton clings to the black vote. That's been the great anchor for the Democratic Party. It doesn't have to offer you anything. But Trump says he's going to make the Democrats work for the black vote. And guys, there are black people who are listening to him.
I know.
And they are
One sitting at our
rising,
table.
they're rising in numbers in the United States. The United States will never be the same. Now, when you leave a vacuum out there like the Democrats have, there's a vacuum out there. Somebody will feel it. And that's those young people. A lot of them that I've talked to are people who have been in prison, who have a job.
You're talking about voting
Sure.
for Trump?
Yeah, they have been. They've had incidents with the law. They don't have jobs, and they're tired of the status quo. They want something new, something different. They want their lives to change for them. Trump says he will find jobs for the young people in Detroit. He will inspire our countries who are leaving the country, like Ford is leaving right now. They're probably packing up right now to leave Detroit. And yeah,
Just the small cars.
yeah, small cars.
Yeah, it's just a small.
That's the bulk of what they make.
Okay,
Small
but let's go
cars.
back. Let's go back to your statement.
Okay.
Trump supporters, and according to stats, NBC, all of them, his supporters are not black, unemployed. His supporters are angry white males with no education.
Yes.
No.
His supporters are middle class white males who
That's right.
are
You're right.
uneducated.
No, not
yes, they are.
uneducated.
Yes, that's
the
what they
white
said.
man has been kicked around for a number of years.
Who has?
He's
Who
been
has?
left out. Hang on, guys. Listen, this is a new approach to looking at this problem. The white man has been kicked around for a number of years. There's a new book written by a person who's called The Decline of the Protestant Americans. You know, in the Constitution it says that this Constitution was organized and developed by Protestant Americans. There's a decline in them. And according to this person and some of the others that are convinced by the book, that gives rise to people like Donald Trump. And you may want to think about that. And we have always had racism in this country. Nobody has been clean. People are not clean today. But Donald Trump, I don't see anything wrong. He's just like everybody else.
No, he isn't.
No, he's not.
He isn't.
What
The man
they
is
said, we have
insane.
never had a presidential candidate that has blatantly went out and just made all kinds of remarks that are racist and hurtful to
What
so
is
many.
racist? I don't.
What's
again,
racist?
Again, I think about this. Every time a person of a different culture decides that the police is after them, they say it's racist. Think about it. The Arabs, the Mexicans, those are white people. Those are not black people. Racism can only occur between black and whites and Asians.
And that's what's occurring
That's
between
what's
black
occurring.
folks
Think about it. Think
and
about it.
Trump. Okay.
Think about it.
I take exception to what you said earlier about
Okay, but let me finish my thought.
when you were okay.
I don't want you guys to go away, just go away mad. You know? but I want to get my point here. But and it annoys me because everybody's profile, that was a protection under the Constitution for black people. And everybody else stole it and took it and ran with it. Now it means nothing. There's no protection at all for us as the blacks. It's protection for other people. Not that they shouldn't have that protection.
So Trump is going to be our rise and be our great white father.
I don't say that. I don't know whether he wants to do that.
No, he
And I don't
doesn't.
think other people want him to do that. There are white people out there who think that their cause need to be triumphed.
But do you know what they said in an interview? This is what his followers said. They felt like they have been left behind with opportunities. How many years have other races been left behind with opportunities? Because let us not go back
Only
and
one.
tell you,
That's you.
it's not just one. You go back, we start with the Indians. I mean, we can go all the way back. My point is, how many people have the white people misused to get ahead of everybody else? So you know what? The Bible says the last shall be first and the first shall be last. So now people are taking their places. And now you can't stand to know that you don't just get to have privilege. And you still have white privilege. Because
yes,
you're still going to have privilege. But the point is, you're not going to be able to get every job. You're not going to be able to get every
black
job.
privilege in your own neighborhoods, in your churches and stuff like that.
What is it?
So
What is black privilege? I've never heard of that.
Privilege is for those who sit in large groups. They dominate the conversation. They dominate the way they live.
They have power. What power do we have as
You
black?
have power under the Constitution.
No, what power do we have as blacks? I want to know because I'm
You have
missing
power
out
under
on
the
mine.
Constitution. The power to be protected from the law. The power to
We're not
live
protected
wherever
from the law.
you- Why not?
Why not? Because they just gave stats again. It shows
Why
that
not?
black people are stopped at a alarming rate to 30-1.
Yeah, that may
30-1.
That may be. I don't know. I don't believe all the statistics that they read out there.
You're right. They're just making them up.
Yeah, they just make them up. They spin them so that they can keep friction
And people are
controversy.
dying, and they just have them in a cemetery
but-
just so that they can mess
Now,
up.
stop and think about this. The black people who were killed, they had a part that they played in it too. Law enforcement will kill you. They have authoritative powers to shoot you when you resist them. And
We
it will
understand.
always be that.
We
When they
understand
resist.
that,
Yeah.
but they're running away and they get shot in the back
Yeah,
15,
no,
20 times.
I can't say that
Okay.
that's good.
Sandra Bland family just got awarded, what is it, 1.6 million for wrongful death, because all she got stopped for is because he said she didn't have a turn signal on, and she ended up dead, and then they lied and said she committed suicide.
But that's not them. You're talking about a single incident. You're not talking about all the people. You're not talking about all of the institution. You're talking about a single incident that fits in this
A
place.
single
at that
incident
time.
that happens so much.
Yeah. How
It
many?
happens so
How many?
How many?
How many?
Hundreds of
hundreds.
times.
But back in the 20s, I would agree with you. And the 30s and the teens and all of that. You were right. But now that has tremendously declined.
Do
The
you have
killing of black
cable? You
people.
don't have cable? You don't watch TV?
Yes, I do. And I watch
You
the History
can't.
Channel.
Well, that's why you need to watch. You need to watch the
But
news.
now stop and think about it. How much do we teach our kids about the infractions with the law. How many of our kids, now here's the thing that you just said, Ron, you don't pledge allegiance to the flag.
No more.
No, you know what? It's the same way in black schools. They don't say the pledge. Now, how can two cultures in the same country go together? Just 34 years from now, when the blacks will have a third of the leadership of this country, what are you teaching them?
That's
Where do
what
we
the
go?
white man is afraid of right now.
Well, I'm sorry if he
Okay.
wasn't afraid of it,
That's
but it's
why
going to
he's
happen
fighting
anyway.
so fiercely to try to maintain
It's
that.
not going to be maintained. It's impossible.
Well, tell Trump supporters that.
Well, I don't think that Trump, I think they know.
No,
You know?
that's why they're afraid, because that's why his backings are a lot of, white supremacist groups. Because
Well, I don't see him as a white supremacist.
Well,
I might see people like
who is
Duke.
David Duke? Right,
Yeah.
and he's one of the main.
But he's repudiated David Duke so many times.
No, he
Not
hasn't.
right.
That's what they've been waiting on. When did he do it?
I don't remember, but he's done.
He didn't do it. Please look it up. He didn't
Yeah,
do it.
look it up, and then we'll
And then we'll talk
share.
again, because
Okay.
he didn't do it. They're waiting
Yeah.
on him to do it, and he keeps
But
this.
you're picking on tiny issues that don't
Tiny.
mean much. Now remember, it's the American people that run this country. It's not the white racist.
No, I'm not talking about it. What I'm saying
there
is,
are people who
but
protect our
he
interests
does.
every day.
But he does
that are white.
influence. That's
But
the
we
most
don't know about it.
influential job there is, and he does influence a group of people.
Yeah.
Correct? He does influence a group of people. Now, the funny thing
But the
is,
American people still control.
And then also the worst thing that Trump could have did the other day, and what message does this send out to them crackpots? All right, telling Hillary Clinton to get rid of her security details. To me, that's a code word. Is he saying someone should harm or kill her when he makes
I
statements
don't
like
know.
that?
You can,
He
you
said
make
it
all of
before.
these conspiracy
He said it
theories.
No, it's not a conspiracy.
He said it before.
He blew that out of his mouth.
Well, I
so
don't
that's
know.
not a conspiracy
I don't know what
theory.
he's saying. I really
All right?
don't.
that's what he said. He said she should get rid of all of her security and see what happens.
You know what I mean?
Well, if she were going into places and
It
she's
doesn't matter.
making certain assumptions about something, and his comments pertain to risky assumptions, what's wrong with that remark?
A lot.
What?
Because these crackpots out here, they could take it any kind of way. All right? These sharpshooters, just the other day I was reading where he took 3 people out and he was a mile away. Okay?
Yeah.
The last time he got up there and said
I
something.
didn't ask for it. I'm not a gun supporter in this country. And I'm not a Clinton hater.
Neither am I.
Now, hang
Neither
on.
am I.
Let me get this out there first.
Vote for Hillary Clinton, people.
I am not a Clinton basher. And if Mrs. Clinton wins, she becomes my president of the United States. Just like Barack Obama. You have never heard me badmouth Barack Obama. And yet we share different politics. And when Mrs. Clinton, if she becomes the president, she becomes my president. And I will, those people who don't like it, I'll tell them to go to hell, and I'll go home and get in bed. Because I live in the United States.
Well, put a lock on the security system in your house, sir.
But I want you guys to know that here's an opportunity for us to better ourselves. Because you got the system putting us in the middle, trying to make us, and this is the result, trying to make us the margin of difference in the election of a president of the United States. Everybody would love to be in that position. Just like independents are in that position now. You guys are Democrats. Don't elect the president of the United States. It's those independents. Those are the people who like Republicans.
No.
Yes,
No.
they are.
No.
Yes, they are.
Democrats, they like Democrats.
But I'm talking about, people who are already set in a position, just like the paper says right now. They're waiting. There are a number of people, about 14%, who are independents and who haven't made up their mind. That's why you have a margin of error about 2 or 3%.
I think it's even larger than that, because I mean, how can you have a real, just like all of those other reports they had, and how they were saying that she was going to lose by 16 or 20 points, and then she blew him out the water. I don't believe in all of those.
I don't believe in that either.
I don't believe in all of those.
But I think it's going to be close.
I don't think it's going to be close.
And I don't have the great propensity to hate people who run for public office in this country.
I don't hate Trump. I dislike what he stands for.
It's a tough job.
I don't hate him. Let's get this clear, because he's not worth going to hell for. I don't hate him. I dislike what he stands for. I dislike what he causes people to be. What he does is he causes people to react. Just like he made another comment, and I can't remember what it was, against Hillary, and somebody charged the stage, as you said. Mm-hmm. Every time he says stuff like this, something happens, because some people are very weak-minded. Mm-hmm. And all they need is somebody to encourage them to do something, and they'll do it. They'll follow it out because they are such devoted followers.
I hope people are listening to us right now, because I want them to write this down on the wall. This is from Henry Hatter. The United States will never be the same after Trump runs for president. And black people will rise, and they'll become important. They'll become the margin of difference in many circumstances as to who is elected or not. We have to have that kind of ambience in our politics. And this is giving us that kind of opportunity. And speaking of when the president candidate was here, I think our mayor missed an opportunity.
No, she did the right thing, kicking his ass out of town.
How'd she miss an opportunity?
You guys didn't even hear me.
Okay, I'm sorry. How did she miss an opportunity? No, Henry, go ahead. How did she miss an opportunity?
When a person who may become president, with all the issues that we have in this town, and no one person, no one party, or no one institution, no matter how smart you are, how much money you got, can solve our problem. We got multiple problems. We even got to retire about a $40 million debt. And people won't believe in your governance without being debt-ridden, like the city of Flint is. She has got to erase that debt. She's got to go back and correct the water problems. She's got to handle the sewage problems.
Right. And so where do you think she was, Henry?
No. You need Congress. You need members of Congress.
Right.
You need the President of the United States. You need the governor to do that. By yourself, you can do nothing.
But where do you think she was?
I'm talking about when Trump came here.
She was in Washington. And they passed the bill. They passed the bill to help with infrastructure.
Okay.
She was in Washington working.
Too little, too late. They don't have enough money to even begin.
He didn't give a notice that he was coming. We were a second thought, and let me just tell you why. We were a second thought because he realized, because he had a new group, I think this is group number 7, that he had around him, and they told him, you're not going to win the presidency without the black vote.
Exactly.
That's when we became important to Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm. No.
Yes.
And he only came to Flint for a photo op.
Republicans did not pursue the black vote simply because it was impossible. There were people had the negatives, just like you have right here, who wouldn't let them into their neighborhoods. They slammed the doors in their faces. They would not take their signs. They did not make friends with Republican candidates
because they were too scared to come into the minority communities.
No,
all right,
that might have been, and rightfully so. But you guys have to make people who are running for office make your neighborhoods friendly. You also have to do that for businesses. You have to do that. You have to make your government friendly, or industry will not come back here.
Okay, moving along here. Hillary Clinton's emails. Let's move on. The FBI has cleared her of any wrongdoing in terms of classified information. Flashback for those that don't remember. George Bush and Cheney erased millions of emails on their private server. Karl Rove erased millions, okay? Daddy Bush erased millions. Cheney erased millions. So get off of her back about, okay, she's apologized. You know what I mean? And you want to keep bringing this shit up over and over and over and over. You know what I mean? FBI.
She stabbed the President of the United States in the back.
The FBI.
By hiding these emails from him.
She didn't hide them.
Yeah,
all right?
No, stop it. The President of the United States should know everything about foreign policies that's going on with that department. He didn't know.
Who said that?
She
said
said,
that, Henry?
all
It
right.
was on a private server. Everything should be in the open.
No, when they send it to her, Henry, hers came. You think she had something that the president didn't have access
Yes,
to?
I
That's
do.
not true.
Yes, I do.
That's not true.
She
That's
had
not true.
classified information that
She
the
had
president did not
emails
have.
coming to her on her private servers versus the server that they provide for.
And the foreign countries who hacked into those emails.
They did not hack into
What
it.
about all of them millions of emails on private servers that George Bush, Daddy Bush, Cheney,
I don't know whether there were a million.
Rumsfeld,
I don't even know whether
okay.
Mrs. Clinton had a million.
Karl Rove, okay?
I don't know that.
If it's
Why
a
don't
big
you
word.
Republicans? Why don't you
Why don't you guys
Republicans
get it
talk
right?
about that stuff?
Get it
okay?
right. At least just get close to the
If it's
truth.
a big
Hey,
word.
this is public. This is
I
public
don't know whether
information.
Mrs. Clinton had over a million.
No, but if it's a
She
big
may have
word,
had, I don't know how
She
many.
wasn't hacked.
50,000?
she wasn't hacked.
Now, how can George Bush have a million? And she only had 50,000.
No, George Bush had. I think it said.
This comes out.
I think it said close to 50,000 emails. All right,
Okay.
in those 8 years that he was in office. Okay, it was in the millions.
But, you know,
You,
in
you
those
can't play
days,
both. You can't play. You can't
But in
play
those days, the
both ends.
regulations was less stringent, maybe. I don't know that to be sure, but I think email policies
No,
have come by
and this would be a
as
good time to
result
teach.
of Clio having emails stolen from the superintendent.
Okay, because they
That
also
becomes
said
part of
on
case
there
law.
that they had Trump didn't understand that it wasn't important information. It was just showing that it was private, and he thought it was confidential, and it wasn't.
He's
So
the
he didn't
biggest liar.
understand.
He's the
He didn't
biggest
understand
liar
the coding
in,
for the
in American
emails.
history.
And this is who you want to be president. Didn't understand the coding for simple emails.
Well, I'm not exactly sure what the code is. I don't remember the discussion now.
Yeah, he
And
was.
you might be right.
He was, he mistaken the code for it, and he thought it was confidential, and
Here,
it
guys,
wasn't.
I want to show you something.
No, he thought it was classified. It was confidential. That's what it was.
I want to show you just a transition by the Kennedy. 2 or 3 months ago, he was just all over the place. Now you can see that he's under the influence of the NRC.
No, he's still all over
Oh
the
no,
place.
he all over the
Hey,
place.
He's still
Listen
all
to
over the
it.
place. But
But
this has been
there-
a great conversation. Unfortunately, we've got to bring this to a close. We will revisit this,
Okay,
Mr.
I hope we
Hatter.
do.
This is Ronald Barrington Robinson and friends saying until next time, stay focused.